Yes, as we have just mentioned in the previous recording, you need to find a Japanese website, at least like an official Japanese website, who's providing 3 or 4 languages, official languages. For example, they are providing news in Japanese, providing news in Chinese, providing news in Arabic or in English or whatever language. But the most important languages or the most important language pair you are looking for is Japanese and English. Japanese and English. So you need to find a Japanese website that is providing those 2 language pair, Japanese and English. At the same website, for example, it must be the same website, not a different website or different news, because different website, even if they are handling the same headline, of course they will change it because sometimes other news they paraphrase. So that means the result will be totally different because it's totally different news corporation. So we need the same news corporation who's providing the Japanese must be providing the English. So this to find this, you need to do some research. You need to try surfing the internet, try to look hard to find an official Japanese website who's providing the 2 language version. Okay, let's say you found that website. What you need to do, you need to look for, let's say, 10 or 20 news headline. I mean, only the news topic, only the topic. No need to go down for the news. Just look for the topic. You need to find the news headlines. Let's say you are going to select 10 news headlines, 10 or 15. You need to open Microsoft Word or open a document or notebook or whatever. You need to write, copy paste those 10 or 15 Japanese headlines in Japanese language. Then you need to convert from Japanese to English, the same website, convert into English, and you need to look for those 10 that just now you took it. You need to look for the same news, but this time in English, because you understand Japanese and English. You will be able to know if this is the same headline or not. If it's the same, you need to copy it. Of course, not all the headlines will be exactly the same. Of course, there will be some changes. For example, like you may found some Japanese website that are saying, okay, last week we have we got fire in the building in the street, so and so. This is the name of the street. Okay, and 5 people or 5 persons were killed in the fire. This is the headline of the Japanese news. When you go to the same website, but the English news, you found they are saying 4 killed. How come? This is the issue. You need to focus on these issues. Here it's 4, but the original the Japanese say 5. For example, in the Japanese they are saying 5 people were killed, but in the English they are saying 5 people were injured or 5 people were hospitalized. So the meaning is totally different. This is the issues you need to focus on.
I see.
Have you got it?
But yes, I got it.
Yeah.
But doctor, how the title would be? Is it like a translation error or something?
No,
Or...
the title is going to be translating
Japanese.
news headlines. Translating news headlines. Let me format the title here for you. Translating news headlines.
From Japanese?
Excellent. From
English.
Into English.
Japanese NESE.
Oh yeah, exactly. Japan
ESE.
ESE.
So
oh, yeah.
NIESE. No, NI, sorry. You can delete the I.
Japan
ESE. Yes.
Japanese. Okay. Translating the news headlines from Japanese into English. Yeah. This one, let's go for Kimi. Okay,
Kimi
Hakimi.
Kimi.
Let's make it Hakimi for those watching us, so they won't confuse. Hakimi.
I.
Yeah.
MI.
Hakimi. Yeah, Hakimi bukan Hakima. Very good.
Yes. And the
Very
from is M. From.
Oh yeah, from is it? Okay,
Yep.
sorry for the typo. Translating the news headlines. Yeah, it's plural.
News headlines.
News headlines from Japanese into English.
English.
But here we got something. Are you going to translate whatever headline, or only you are going to focus, for example, on political headlines, sport headlines? Yeah, what you're going to do.
Mhm.
Later on, maybe you can, when you first you need to search and see. If you cannot find, for example, a lot of information about, you can find, for example, a lot of information about the news headlines, or you can see a lot of information about sport headlines, or what we can say here, you can find a lot of information about politics headline. Then we can just revise the title. We can say translating politics or political news headlines, or sporting news headlines. We can just make it more accurate, or we can just narrow down in order to be more precise. Okay,
Yes.
very good. So now we have finished also with Hakimi. Who's next?
It's me, basically.
Now we make it this one. Let's change the color. Make it blue. Okay. Okay. Ashraf, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Have you formatted your title so far?
I did, but I'm still thinking whether I want to do some lyric translation or maybe a subtitling. So
What do you
basically, I
mean?
will just share the title. So basically, I got two things that I need to choose whether I need to do for a lyric translation and
Lyrics
also
translation?
to and the other one is to do some like comparison between a subtitle between the official subtitle and fan subtitling on a Japanese animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I will just share the title here at the chat box.
Yeah. You have a look at your title. Please, yeah, try to write it down here in the chat box.
And also the other one.
Can you write it without all these capitals? Yeah.
Okay.
Just write it in the standard way of writing. Mhm. Okay, I got your title here, which is quite long. Let me just make it here, bring it down. Okay, this is your title, Ashraf, right?
Yes.
Indeed, it's quite long. A comparative translation. A comparative translation study of the Japanese animation. Again, Ashura subtitling between official subtitle and fan sub. It's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated, yes. We need to make it easy and simple. So tell me what you want to do actually.
So actually, I want to to compare between the official subtitle, which is from the Netflix, and also from the fan subtitling from a pirated website that shares the same video with different subtitle.
So you want to compare between Netflix subtitles and
Yeah. Netflix subtitle and also with the pirated. I mean it's kind of like an illegal, not illegal. It's kind of like a fan website that also uploaded the same video with different subtitle.
okay, but that will be a bit difficult for what we can say for the student level, especially in diploma. So that is not recommended for diploma student level. It's a bit difficult and it's complicated and it needs a lot of effort. You need a lot of data. You need to search and do many things. I believe some students have done similar research to this in the previous semesters. Yeah, some students have done similar research to this in the previous semesters. Maybe we need to find something else. Do you have any other ideas?
Maybe I'm planning to do some kind of comparative study between like a song. This is a Japanese mix English song, and then the subtitle will be in Indonesian. But I will do my translation to compare between the Indonesian and Malay. Which one is the
Okay.
what is the differences?
Okay. How much you can rate your language proficiency level for the Japanese?
I would say out of 10, around 7.5 or maybe 8.
Okay, that's interesting. 7.5 to 8. Okay, that's interesting. But songs still not that recommended title to go with a song or to go for a song, translating song. What do you think about translating, for example, news articles from Japanese to English or English to Japanese, or translating cultural terms, which is a bit quite interesting. For example, cultural terms between Japanese and English or Japanese and Malay. Translate the cultural terms. What are the terms that embedded to the culture we can found in Japanese, or we have found in Japanese, or we may also can find in English?
think that's also okay. But I think
Oh,
I need
thank you
I
very
need to find something that's really suitable articles. But I haven't think about that yet.
Okay. Try to look for these two interesting titles I recommend to you. Let's say try to look for something related to news. If you want to translate news, for example, political news between Japanese and English or Japanese and Malay. Sport news, also interesting. If you want to also, you can go for cultural terms, translating cultural terms between Japanese and Malay or Japanese and English, translating profanity words, like the bad words, how they translate it between English and Japanese, because these words are 100% cultural words. How these
Okay.
profanity words are translated between English and into Malay, or from Malay to English. So how can we translate? And when we translate this word, does it convert or convey the same message or not? Does it copy the same meaning or not?
Mhm.
Yeah, those are quite interesting. Maybe you need to search, to do some searching on these uh, fields and see if you can work on any of them. Then we can decide your title based on that.
Okay.
Okay, maybe so I can give you maybe until next session. I hope before that you will be able to format your own title based on these, or maybe you can come up with something new also. Yeah, why not?
Okay, doctor.
So yeah, we have finished for today's session. We have come up with four. We have here, we have 5 titles, but for Hakimi, for Ashraf, he need to reformat his title and change the area of subtitle translation. As we mentioned, it's quite higher than the diploma level, so you need to look for something more easy in terms of dealing between the two languages. Especially he's dealing between one of the foreign languages like Japanese, which is quite interesting area he need to handle in terms of doing the research project. So we recommend here try to look for something more easier compared compared to Japanese movie subtitle or animation movie subtitles. So here you are looking for a comparative study or comparative study of the Japanese animation subtitle between official sub and fan sub. Yeah, it's quite interesting, but I'm afraid it's not proper for the diploma level. Maybe you need to look for something more easier compared to this. Okay, so Ashraf is not yet approved. Needs to search okay. So I hope you all got your title now. For Ashraf, it's not a bit difficult. It's quite easy, Ashraf. Just you need to do some research and try to focus on what area you are going to do. But try to leave the area of video or movie subtitle because it's going to take a lot of time. So that's all for today. I believe we can end up here. Any questions so far?
Is it possible? Okay, say that say that I'm not feeling that the this thesis is good enough for me. I mean, like if it's hard for me, is it possible if I change it later?
Yes, you have until next week. If you want to change
Okay.
or you want to paraphrase, you want to revise your title, yes. But of course, you have to let me know first. And I need to know
Okay.
why you are going to change it, for example. Is it you cannot find enough data, or what is the reason why you are going to change it? Because since we have approved it and you agree for it. And I think it's quite interesting, like most of your title, it's quite interesting. It's new. But if you have any concern to change it or to revise it, yes, you can do so, but you have to let me know first. Then we can have a short discussion about that, and then if we agree, then yeah, I will let you change it or revise it. But it must be in the before the third week, or in the third week, meaning that is next week. After that, it will be very difficult for all of you to change or revise your title, because once you create your own RQ research question, research objective, it will be very difficult to change the title, because any even slight change you made in the title, it will affect everything you write. Okay.